Hello and welcome to the Silver King's War. I'm Michael Sievers, the writer, producer, and creator of this podcast series about my father's Second World War as a B-26 bombardier. Today we conclude the epilogue for Dearest Ones, the letters that our hero, the Silver King, wrote to his family throughout the war. We do so by reprising the letters that Stanley wrote in September of 1945 while he was waiting to get back to the States. It's been a long and unhappy time as he relates to his family through correspondence. Stanley writes from the Harve at Port City on September 10th, 1945. It's been almost a month since he has written to his family. My dearest ones, first of all, let me assure you that I am in the best of health. I haven't written for some time, so I have no doubt you have been worrying as usual. I won't apologize for not writing, for my feelings are far from being apologetic. So many damn inexcusable things have happened. My ill-tempered manner has burst forth like a raging, roaring mass of water. My locale has changed since my last letter, but that's about all that can be said for it. 200 of us came here from Le Bourg on August 18th to be quartered here in tents in a tent city known as Lucky Strike, a processing area for the port of Le Havre. Upon leaving Le Bourg, it was taken for granted by all that this would be our last stop, as it naturally should be, because from here the troops board the boats. Well, that was 3 weeks ago, during which time we have lived in dirt, believing we were actually going home from day to day. Yet the days passed, and men were shipped out, but we only continued to sit. Finally, this morning, the suspense was broken, and believe me, what was told to us really rocked us on our heels. 61 days en route, and now we're going back to the same point at which this whole mess began. It's as difficult for me to take as I imagine it is for you to understand. I'll go back a bit and explain. Maybe it will clarify the situation for you. When I left the bomber group, my orders read I was to return to the States for rehabilitation. After arriving at Le Bourg, for some unknown reason, shipments were curtailed. Then, when orders finally came through after 5 weeks of waiting, I was thrown in with a bunch of men who were going home for redeployment. This was okay until the war in Japan ended and the policy changed to get the high point men home first. This is what screwed everything up, because half our men had enough points for discharge while the others didn't have. Now all of us have to return to Le Bourg to be screened, which brings us up to date with the result that the time spent here was wasted. Fortunately, I have 85 points, which is just enough to send me home unless something else happens to change it. But the men with less than 85 will probably be sent back into Germany for occupation. I suppose they are the ones to be pitied after being so close to home, but I can't feel sorry for anyone but myself. And besides, it still isn't definite that I'll go home, although the odds are in my favor. We'll leave here in a day or two for Le Bourg, and God only knows how long I'll remain there. I don't know where I'll go from there after having been screened, but my idea is that I'll be sent to Stowe, England, another replacement depot, and from there, if I'm lucky, I'll catch one of the Queens, as that is how the Air Corps personnel is leaving now. It's all a guess with my fingers crossed. From now on, I won't believe I'm going home until I actually put foot on the boat. With this in mind, don't expect me anytime soon. It's only a matter of patience, of which I no longer possess. God knows, after the miserable way I came over to this God-forsaken country, I expected half a break in returning. I've never seen as raw a deal pulled on anyone. How I wish I had a bottle of whiskey. A good drunk is about the only thing that would make me feel better. A lot of drinking is the only thing that will make me feel better, and that's just what I intend to do if and when I get home. Not hearing from you for 2 months hasn't helped. I do pray you're all well and happy. I still wonder about Lee. I hope he at least got a break. Give everyone my love, and to expect me when I get there. Love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. P.S. Remember about the phone calls. I expect some from friends, so please take the message and say that you expect me any day. Our hero, the Silver King, has written a 4-page letter to his family explaining what's been going on in Europe regarding his return. They have been moving his guys around like pawns on a chessboard, and there's a great unhappiness amongst the Air Corps personnel as Stanley writes to his family from Laborc, where he has returned on September 19th, 1945. Dearest Ones, now that I have completed the circuit and am once again residing at my origin, I feel safe in saying once again that I am on my way home. I'm leaving tomorrow by train to Antwerp, where I hope this time I shall board a ship. They have assured us that it's the real thing this time. I pray they be right. Our mess has caused quite a commotion among the higher-ups, and our predicament is known all over Paris. Some one person is definitely responsible for the fiasco through his own carelessness, and we have been made to understand that he will be punished, though that isn't too much consolation for the less fortunate among our group of lost sheep. Just as I wrote you, the unit was screened. Men with 75 points and above are leaving tomorrow with some sort of priority. Thank God I have 77. As yet, nothing has been said what will happen to the others, though the general opinion is they will return to Germany for occupation. It is indeed a low blow to them. For instance, one of the boys from Birmingham with whom I have become great friends only has 53 points. He is worried and has a baby who he has never seen. I really feel sorry for him. He's been a swell companion, and I had looked forward to traveling with him. He is Herbie Ziegler. Perhaps you know his father of Ziegler's Sausages. If all goes well, I should be in New York about the second week in October. This is purely a guess, so don't go rushing to New York. I might not even get into the city. Stay home, and I'll call you from the first phone I find and let you know all the details. I pray you're both well and happy. God forbid that anything has happened and you couldn't get in touch with me. I've been fine and only thinking how good it will be to be at home and a civilian. Give my regards to everyone, and love to Ida. I love you and miss you, Stan. Stanley, our patient hero, remarkably so, has written for the last time from Europe and his war in the European theater of operations. It's late September of 1945, and he is about to board a ship from Antwerp. And he's hopeful of being in New York City by mid-October. As our hero prepares to ride one of the queens, either the Mary or Elizabeth, we have reached the conclusion of the epilogue for Dearest Ones, the letters that our hero wrote to his family throughout the war. As you know, as faithful listeners over these years, the war for our hero, the king, was an adventure of discovery, terror, friendship, and love. Stanley saw the European continent for the only time in the rest of his life. As he rode the Atlantic west toward New York Harbor, he was anticipating getting home to Birmingham for visits with family and friends, and lingering over many of Ida's special cooking for him. He has missed her almost desperately at times, and Ida, of course, will be very happy to see young Stanley. As we reach the end of this episode, I hope that you will continue to follow the Silver King's War as we review the years of his war in coming episodes. And after that review, we will consider Stanley's life after the war in the United States. Many listeners have asked about the king's future. What really happened to the king? How did he live? And we will explore those years in a series of plays called The Silver Fields of Northbrook. I hope you will follow the king. And you are listening to The Silver King's War.